Hey, you ready to see this video?
Yeah, show it to me. Can't wait to see this. Alrighty. Oh, God! No! Oh, what the f?
Hello friends, fans and foes. This is going to be a follow-up to Forbidden Fruit. But I wanted to say first, because I know there are more things to talk about when it comes to sex in youth, I don't think sexual assault and rape should be discussed at the same time as sexual education. Assault and rape is about dominance and power, and sex is about love and respect and mutual pleasure. So to split up the two topics, I decided to put this one in between to act as a segue. I'd like to talk about children and exposure to pornography. It's inevitable. So how do we prepare them? The computer my children use is in a common area. There are search blocks in place, but children visit other homes. Sometimes they don't have any filters. Filters may have been disabled by an older sibling, or the parent or older sibling have a folder containing pornography on the hard drive. You can't stop it. Imagine my surprise when I overheard my 11-year-old mention that she had seen 2 girls, 1 cup. I tried not to panic and calmly asked her how she saw it. She said that a friend of hers at school had it on her iPod. During recess they gathered into a circle, having heard so many rumors about this infamous video from older siblings. They eagerly awaited to see what they anticipated to be the grossest thing they had ever seen in their entire lives. The way she told this story gave me flashbacks from a movie called Stand By Me, a group of curious young boys who set off on a trip to find a dead body. As she described to me what she had seen, she tried not to laugh and hid a sheepish grin under her hand. Seemingly the same reaction to witnessing a classmate eating worms for lunch money. I asked her what she felt about it. She said it was so gross, and expressed doubts as to its authenticity. I asked her how many times she had seen it, and she said to me, "Mom, I only needed to see it once." I had to work really hard to hold back a chuckle here. That was pretty much the same response I had to see in the video myself. This was an opportunity for me to open up a dialogue and find out what kind of things she may have seen on the internet. I asked her if she'd seen naked pictures of people on a computer before, and she replied yes, but quickly defended herself, saying that she was not looking for it. It just popped up. I asked her how she felt about it, and she said to me, "I try and close it as fast as I can, because I don't want anyone to think I was looking for it." She then went into a story about one of her classmates whose house she visits from time to time. My daughter said she likes to look at pictures and show them to me. She then said to me, "I think some people just like to be naked, or like to try and look sexy." Then she said it makes her feel uncomfortable when her friend tries to get her to look at these images. Needless to say, she's not allowed to go to that home anymore. However, her friend is still allowed to visit her. She knows her technical anatomy pretty well, so I asked her what the people were doing in the pictures. She said it was a naked woman. Sometimes it was naked women kissing. Sometimes it was a man putting his penis into her mouth or vagina. She said to me, "Is that really what people do?" And I replied, "Well, when they're old enough, yes. Some of these things adults do to express their love to each other." She didn't ask why people take pictures of themselves doing these things, and she was unaware that people view explicit images of others for sexual gratification, so I left that out of the conversation. She kind of expressed disgust at the thought that people do these things, which is normal for anyone who doesn't understand why and is not ready to participate in such activities. She was just as grossed out by the kissing just a year earlier. I wondered to myself if this was any different to my own exposure to pornography when I was a child. It was not available to my knowledge in my own home, but I had friends who found their parents' Playboy stashes. We would also gather in a circle to look at the images, not really being fully aware of the sexual nature. It was just interesting to see what grown-ups do, and the amazing variety of sizes and shapes their bodies come in. Unfortunately, I didn't have parents open enough to talk to me about these things, or who were willing to give me truthful answers. My mother herself, who gave birth to me at 16, maintained she played with dolls and was a good little girl until she was 18. Already I knew this to be a lie. Because of this, I turned to my school's sexual education classes, books, and friends for answers. None of these things really answered the questions I had. And because of that, at an age that was too young for me, I went out to find out on my own. Children will be exposed to adult material, whether it's through overhearing a discussion or viewing images. In this digital age, it's very likely to be the latter, and I think parents need to be prepared to answer some very tough questions like, what is a blowjob? And what is a dildo? These are actual questions my daughter asked me in the first 2 years of elementary school. The one thing I learned through my experiences is that most children will look away from images they feel they're not ready to see, and children who have yet to develop a sexual identity will view it as curious grown-up behavior that makes no sense to them, rather than develop a sexual desire to actively mimic it. These things won't come into play until the beginning of puberty, when a true sexual arousal and connection between pleasure and other humans' genitals begins to make sense. These things won't come into play until the beginning of puberty, when true sexual arousal and a connection between pleasure and other humans' genitals begins to make sense, unless they've been molested and exposed to the adult connection of sexual pleasure and other people's bodies at a young age. You can't completely shelter your child from these things, but you can safeguard your own home by first keeping the computer in a shared area, by using internet safeguards, and mostly by always talking to your children. This is Rain. The Surface is for Simple Minds. Thanks for listening.